They're turning the yellow, they're getting soft. It's when they get transparent. See how they're starting to look a little transparent in there. Then you know they're cooked enough to go into the chili pot. Okay, you can't just toss them in raw. They'll never cook up. You got to break down the onions with this. The hardest part is done. The onions is the toughest part. Cutting them up and then frying them up, softening them up like this, about 20 minutes altogether. So well worth it. Wait till you see the results. So here we go. Here's our chili pot. Of course, you need a nice pot to make chili, and I've dumped all of the cooked onions into it, and now we're going to fry up the meat. So here we have about, almost 2 pounds of ground beef, which I just throw in. It's a lot of work, not as hard as cutting up the onions. But I found this is probably the best motion. Just take a spatula and just... Now, of course, you got to throw in some salt. Don't overdo it. And you might want to toss in a little pepper. There we go. Just about out of pepper here. That's all right. We're going to use chili powder, and that's the best spice of all. Okay, after chopping away, we've got this down to bite-sized pieces. We've salted and peppered it, and now comes the chili powder. Here's the chili powder. I got a big can of it. Now this is getting weak. So there you have it. All chopped up fine. It's cooked now, ready to go in the big pot. I added more chili powder, and we can add more later. Canned tomatoes, and they're cheap. And I just cut them up now. You can see I've chopped up all the tomatoes. They were big, now they're all small bite-sized pieces. And I mix them in with my onions. Well, we're almost done now. We've done all the hard parts. All that's left is to add in a few other vegetables. And we're through. And some more tomatoes here. I did 1 big can, but I'm putting in about 1.5 cans, because that's a lot of meat. And so all the basic ingredients are there now. Basically, it's taken about a half hour, and we've made enough chili here to feed about 15 people, well, 12 people anyway. Here's the end product, finally. We added in beans at the end. Now these are just canned beans. And you notice most of the beans are white, not red. Because those red beans that most people put in chili, they're too sweet. And if you only use red beans, you get a sugary chili, which is not the main idea. This dish of chili here, which is really a meal, probably costs under $1. About $1. And a little effort. Took about a half hour to chop up the onions and boil up the meat and so on. But what a half hour and what a payoff.